The 2026 NFL offseason is underway. Let's talk about the talent that our Broncos can add to this roster to make it better. What's up, Broncos country? My name is Brandon Gilchrist. After a successful 2025 season, the Broncos look ahead to free agency and the draft to help make this roster better for the upcoming 2026 NFL season. With free agency just ahead, I want to do a deeper dive into the areas that we identified for improvement or upgrade and talk about players the Broncos could potentially add to make this roster better. The next group I want to look at is linebacker, specifically inside linebacker. The Broncos experienced a little bit of fluctuation in 2025 with Alex Singleton, Justin Strnad, and Dre Greenlaw rotating at those inside linebacker positions. At the end of the day, they performed well, but the biggest area of opportunity for them was in coverage, specifically with running backs running out of the backfield, where I think the Broncos could look to upgrade here to really seal up the only weakness on this Broncos defense. This is an area where I'd love to see the Broncos add an experienced upgrade along with drafting and developing a high potential talent. Let's first look at free agency and play around a little bit and see if there's somebody coming into the market the Broncos could look to acquire to add to this roster. What's interesting here is both Alex Singleton and Justin Strnad are unrestricted free agents. So there's a potential for them to sign one, the other, or both back to the roster to create some continuity on the defense. But me personally would love to see them upgrade in talent here. Dre Greenlaw will be here unless they do something crazy. The first guy that comes to mind for me, who ultimately may end up getting a franchise tag for the team he played for in 2025, is Caden Ellis. Yes, brother of Jonah Ellis, currently on the Denver Broncos, would be an amazing upgrade, an amazing get for the Broncos. He's played for both the Saints and most recently the Falcons the last 2 years, and is now an unrestricted free agent. He's an excellent tackler, big playmaker, and a versatile pass rusher who adds much more athleticism to this position than what the Broncos currently have when it comes to a coverage linebacker. In 2025, he led the Falcons defense in tackles at 107. He had 6 passes defensed, an interception, and a forced fumble. Frankly, I see no major concerns in his play, and I do think he would be an immediate upgrade for the Broncos. I think the only thing we're going to have to think about is this an area where the Broncos would want to spend a little bit more to get a player of this caliber? Another person the Broncos could consider is Nakobe Dean. Now, he's a bit younger at 25. He won a Super Bowl with the Eagles, though he didn't play due to injury. He's athletic, considered a great blitzer, and coverage linebacker. Again, for me, everybody that I'm identifying here, I'm looking for somebody that can play that coverage linebacker role better than what we currently have. Because he was hurt in the Super Bowl, he had a great comeback performance in 2025, including 4 sacks and 2 forced fumbles. Now, the concern here would be his size. That concern doesn't seem to translate for his play at all. He's 5'11", 230 pounds, but that hasn't stopped him from being an impactful player for his team. So this is one I think the Broncos should consider. And finally, another major name and another player the Broncos faced in 2025 is Devin Lloyd. Most recently played with the Jaguars. He earned himself a Pro Bowl and a second-team All-Pro. Devin Lloyd is considered a versatile, athletic, instinctive run-stuffing linebacker who's also excellent in coverage, though this does lapse sometimes when he takes risks in trying to jump routes. 2025 was considered a breakout performance for him. 81 tackles, 5 interceptions, and 1.5 sacks. Devin Lloyd would add a straight-up playmaker to our inside linebacker position, and I'm all for it. A couple other linebackers the Broncos could consider is Alex Anzalone. He most recently played with the Lions. He's considered an instinctive, versatile linebacker who excels in coverage. His run fits are considered his area of development, but in 2025, he had 9 passes defensed, 95 tackles, 4 tackles for a loss. A really solid player. Frankly, I'm not sure would be an upgrade, but maybe somebody that the Broncos consider depending on the price of someone like an Alex Singleton might command versus an Alex Anzalone. And finally, EJ Speed could be another potential add for the Broncos in 2026. He most recently played with that vaunted 2025 Houston Texans defense. He's considered speedy, athletic, and a disruptive playmaker. The area of concern for him is when facing a little bit of those speedier receivers, but one linebacker doesn't have trouble in that area. He was a rotational depth piece for the Texans in 2025. So there's a potential here for growth in a starting role for another team. But again, there are holes in his game. If the Broncos do look to add through free agency, those are the players that I would consider. Again, I personally think the Broncos should add an experienced vet as an upgrade, in addition to adding a developmental, high potential talent draftee to this roster. Inside linebacker has been an area that the Broncos have been trying to hit on and just haven't quite gotten there. This year in the draft, there are a lot of talented linebackers, and this should be a year that the Broncos take advantage of that, with there not being many other holes on this roster to begin with. What do you think about the Broncos adding a linebacker in free agency? Let me know in the comments who you're thinking about. What do you think of the players that I identified that the Broncos could add? Let me know in the comments. As always, be kind. Talk to you soon, Broncos country.